What's up guys, my name is Ace, and today we're going to be talking about the score streaks in Advanced Warfare, and more importantly, my personal experience with the score streaks in the Gamescom build of the game. And keep in mind, there are several other streaks that have now been confirmed, but they weren't available for use at Gamescom, so I'm not going to be talking about those ones. There's also a couple other streaks that have been hinted at, but not confirmed yet. The one that I'm really thinking of is the Drone Swarm. There have been hints in the game at the Drone Swarm, but we haven't seen anything to do with it yet, so we'll wait and see for that one, but I'm not going to be speculating about anything in this. This is simply talking about my personal experience with the streaks. So basically, I'm just going to go through the list of all the streaks that were available to us, but before I do that, I just want to answer one of the most frequently asked questions, and that is, do the score streaks stack in Advanced Warfare? So yes, they do stack, but in a really balanced way in my opinion. It's very similar to Black Ops 2. Basically, by stacking, I mean, if you have a lethal kill streak and it gets you a kill, does that kill contribute to your next score streak? And yes, it does contribute to your next score streak, but not nearly as much as a kill with your gun would be. So, like in Team Deathmatch, if you get a kill with a score streak, I believe it gives you only 25 points instead of 100 points towards your next score streak for that kill. So, just wanted to clear that up before we go through the list. Alright, so now let's go through it. The UAV is the very first streak that we had available. It costs 400 score to earn, and the ones that I used were the extra assist points, which when you have a UAV, you get assist points every time a teammate gets a kill on enemies while that UAV is active. So this one gives you extra points, and I don't know the exact numbers as far as extra points, but I do know that it definitely was a noticeable boost towards earning your next score streak. So if you had UAV and then a care package after that, if you earned your UAV with your extra assist points, it was very, very fast. It helped you quite a bit anyways till earning your next streak. You could basically just sit back and almost let that earn your next streak for you. And I feel like it is balanced because it does cost an extra 150 points to earn that UAV. So instead of 400 points, it costs 550 points. Now the next one is threat detection, which I didn't actually use, so I'm not really going to talk about, but basically it shows all enemies for 10 seconds following the activation. And that costs an extra 300 score. And the final UAV one that we had available to us, the final UAV upgrade that is the support UAV, which I really like, but I'm going to talk about a little later. Basically with this one, points earned towards the streak will retain through death. So if you die while you're on your way to earning this streak, it doesn't matter, it doesn't reset your streak. It's just like a support UAV in previous games. This one does cost 300 extra points, so this will cost 700 points total, or 700 score to earn. So every 700 score when you have this active, you're going to be earning a UAV regardless of whether or not you die through that road to earning that UAV. Moving on to the care package, the standard care package costs 500 score. The next upgrade, or the first upgrade, is double tap, which allows you to basically re-roll your care package. So let's say you get a care package, you call it in, and you get a UAV. You now have an option to double tap that, which re-rolls it and gives you a chance to earn a better streak. Doesn't necessarily always get you a better streak, but it gives you that chance. And I did use this, and I think I earned a UAV, and then I double tapped it, and it got me a remote turret. So it definitely was a little bit helpful. Now the next upgrade to the care package, which also costs 200 points, is better odds, and this one worked for me as well. This one just increases the chance of getting a better score streak from it. And this one I actually earned an upgraded Paladin, but we'll talk about that upgraded Paladin once we get down the list. Now finally, the last upgrade that we had available to us at Gamescom for the care package was support. So this one is basically the exact same thing as a support UAV. When you die, you still carry on those points towards earning your support care package. This one does cost an extra 600 points, so 1100 score total to earn. But we'll talk about this a little bit later. I didn't use it at all in the Gamescom build, just simply because I didn't see it in the Gamescom build. We didn't have a ton of time in the menus to select everything, and I was more focused on the class rather than the score streaks that I was using. So next up we have the remote turret, which costs 600 points, and I did earn the base model of this one, and it was actually kind of funny because I just assumed it was a sentry gun that would automatically start killing enemies, and I was wondering why mine wasn't killing enemies. I had placed it down, and I had enemies all over in front of it, and I couldn't figure out why it wasn't shooting the enemies. This one, by default, it has to be manually controlled, so it isn't an AI streak. So you have to place it down, and then you have to actually use it and control it to shoot your enemies. I didn't realize this until it had almost expired, and so I only actually got 1 kill with the remote turret, but you can get a lot more kills with the remote turret based on what I've seen in other gameplays, and if you were using it for the full duration and knew what you were doing, but I had no idea what I was doing. As for the upgrades to the remote turret, we have the rocket turret, which basically instead of a machine gun, you now have rockets. Then we have directed energy, which again, instead of having rockets or a machine gun, you now have a laser that your turret fires. And then the next one is rippable, which is one that I also didn't use, and I don't think I will use too much, but basically you can carry the sentry gun around with you, or the remote turret, sorry. You can carry that around with you and use it kind of like a minigun. So I think you go pretty slow with it, but it is quite powerful. Now finally, this is one that I did end up using once I figured out that it wasn't a sentry turret on its own. This is the sentry upgrade, which turns your turret into an AI controlled turret rather than something you have to manually control. And this one was quite effective. It's basically what you'd come to expect from a sentry gun. Now moving on to the XS1 Vulcan, this one costs 600 points to earn, and this one's kind of like the Loki, it looks like. So you're way up in the sky, like almost like in a satellite. I don't know if it is a satellite. And then you fire a laser onto the ground. It's quite a big laser, and it kills anyone that it touches, or any enemies that it touches anyways. It does move quite slow, and once you activate it, like you can't just do short bursts of it. Once you activate the burst, you've committed, and you move very slowly once the burst is activated. So you find your spot. It's pretty quick at finding your spot, and then once you activate it, you move very slow, and it's pretty easy to actually avoid if it doesn't land on you directly. So if the enemy is using it, it is easy to avoid, but if you get caught off guard, then it will kill you very quickly. So I did earn the standard one, and it was relatively effective. It was basically a guaranteed first kill, and then maybe if you were lucky, you would get 1 or 2 kills on top of that, but for the most part, it was just a 1 kill sort of thing. The first upgrade for it is Overcharge, which will just increase your beam width, which I didn't actually use, but basically from the sounds of it, it basically just increases your kill radius a little bit. The next one is Light Show, which adds 3 rotating lasers. Instead of just the 1 single laser, you have the 3 rotating lasers around it, which significantly increases your kill radius. I used this, I think, just once, and I think I got 3 kills with it, so it does seem pretty effective with the Light Show upgrade to it. And then finally, we have the Extra Burst, which I didn't use at all. I am going to speculate a little bit here. I believe it just gives you basically 2 bursts of it. So instead of just the 1 burst, you fire once and then you've committed to using the entire streak. You have the 1 burst, and then you have another burst afterwards. So this one seems like it could be pretty powerful, but like I said, I didn't actually get a chance to use it. So next up, we have the Warbird, which costs 800 score to earn. This one I didn't actually use the base model of at all, but based on the gameplay that I've seen, it seems sort of like a really big and slow Dragonfire. I'm not too sure if you can actually control it though, so I don't know. It could be something that flies around on its own and you just fire, but you have like a machine gun and you kill enemies with it. It's pretty straightforward, but again, I don't know. I haven't actually played with it, so I don't want to say anything for sure. The first upgrade for it is rockets, so instead of just having a machine gun, you can also have rockets, and that one costs 300 extra score to earn. The next one is the one that I did actually earn, and that is the Aggressor. So this one basically just turns your Warbird into something that's AI controlled, so you call it in and you can continue killing people on the ground while it just does its work and kills enemies. Now this one, I couldn't quite tell if it was actually following me around the map like an escort drone was, or if it was actually just flying on its own. It seemed to follow me around, but it could have just been a coincidence. It could have been just that wherever I was moving, it happened to move also. But it did only get me 2 kills in Team Deathmatch. It was Team Deathmatch on Biolab, and it was a little bit disappointing because it was 1100 score to earn, so it took me 11 kills to earn that thing, and it only got me 2 kills. But then again, Biolab there are a lot of places inside that you can use to avoid streaks that are on the outside, and I kind of had control of the outside areas, so I can see why it only got me 2 kills, and I think it could be a lot more powerful than it was from my experience. Now finally, for what we had available for upgrades, we have Warbird Wingman, which basically allows another player on your team to join you in the Warbird, and it'll give him an additional machine gun turret, so he can shoot and you can shoot at the same time, and it has the 2 different turrets, and I didn't get a chance to use that one either. So moving on to the next one, we have the XS1 Goliath, which is that big mech suit that you guys have probably all seen in trailers and things. Gives you extra armor, moves really slow, and you have big machine guns. It's like the juggernaut of Advanced Warfare. Now, I didn't actually earn any variation of the Goliath at Gamescom, so I don't really want to speculate or talk too much on it, since I just don't have any personal experience with it. The upgrades for it, we have Recon, which will give you XO ping automatically on your Goliath, which is cool. Then we have Trophy, which is basically gives you a mobile trophy system on the suit. It basically gives you the XO trophy system on your suit, so it'll deflect incoming explosives. Then we have Homing Rockets, which is a rocket pack on your shoulder that can shoot multiple missiles on a locked target. So this kind of reminds me of possibly like the Predator Scorestreak from Ghosts. I'm not too sure if that's how it works, but that seems to be how it works. Alright, so now finally we have the Paladin, which is the last and the highest score streak that we could earn at Gamescom. This one, the base model, costs 1,000 points to earn, and I actually earned the base model in Team Deathmatch on Biolab. It was actually the same game that I earned that Warbird. The Paladin, it's kind of like an AC-130, but the base model of the Paladin isn't nearly as powerful as the AC-130. You basically just have the machine gun of the AC-130. You don't have the big rockets as well, or the big cannons. It was still quite powerful. You do have to fire in bursts, like it does overheat, that does need to recharge or reload. So you do have to time your burst properly. You can't just hold the trigger down the entire time. But it is very, very powerful at the same time. So once you find your target, you can kill them quite easily and quite quickly. I think with the base model of the Paladin, I'm just trying to remember, I think I got about 4 or 5 kills with it, which is not too bad for Team Deathmatch on Biolab. Like I said, the enemies have a lot of places to escape indoors where you can't get a good shot on them with an air-controlled kill streak or score streak. So the base model of the Paladin I found was quite effective, but I've also earned the laser-guided rocket. Now this one I earned through the Better Odds care package that I talked about earlier. This was uplink on the map Defender, and I got about 12 kills with the laser-guided rocket Paladin, so it's extremely powerful. It's just like an AC-130, or very, very similar anyways. So you have your base model Paladin where you have those machine guns that you can fire in bursts to kill enemies, and then you also have a laser-guided rocket system. So you can lock onto enemies on the ground, you fire your rocket, and it moves fairly slowly towards the ground. It's not like instant. The enemy does have a chance to react to it, so if they manage to get inside before the rocket gets to them, then obviously they'll be safe. But if they're caught out in the open, that laser-guided rocket is going to lock onto them and kill them pretty much every time, at least from my experience, and it was extremely powerful. Like I said, I got about 12 kills with it. And I managed to get like 60 kills that game. I think I went like 63 and 12 or something like that. It was a really good game. The enemies really didn't know what was going on though, so they kept running out into the open. But the laser-guided Paladin was awesome. So next up we have the 105mm cannon, which will be just like the AC-130, the big cannon from the AC-130 in Modern Warfare 2. I didn't get a chance to use it at all though, so I don't want to say for sure, but sounds to me like that's what it's going to be. And then finally for the Paladin, we have the Wingman, which just like with the Warbird, it allows another player to join and have their own machine gun turret on the Paladin. Alright, so now that we've gone through the list, I want to talk about some of my impressions overall of the score streaks. So I found in Uplink, which is that objective game mode, it's the new one where you have to take that satellite, which is the ball, and throw it into the enemy's portal. I found it was actually very difficult to earn the higher streaks. I found if you weren't carrying the ball, you weren't really earning a whole lot of score. I believe it was only 50 score per kill. And if you are carrying the ball and actually scoring points, you did get a fair amount of score, but it's also an extremely risky thing to do because you can't shoot enemies while you have that ball in your hand. You basically just have melee, or you have the option to throw the ball away, and you can throw it at your enemies and then shoot them. But it did take quite a bit to earn streaks in Uplink, which I found to be a little bit off. I feel like it needs a little bit more balancing. I know it does, with the current system, encourage you to play the objective, but also you are extremely vulnerable, like I said, and it's not really practical to try and earn a high kill streak by actually picking that ball up and trying to run it to the enemy team's portal. As for Team Deathmatch, I found it was balanced very, very nicely. In Black Ops 2, I found there the score streaks were just set a little bit too high to earn the higher end score streaks consistently, and even the lower end ones like UAV, it took a fair amount to earn that UAV. And in Advanced Warfare, I found Team Deathmatch was a great game mode to actually earn streaks on. I could earn those higher end streaks or those mid to higher range streaks relatively consistently by just going on a 10 kill streak or something around there. And I feel like that's the way it should be. You should have a good chance of earning those high streaks if you're a skilled player that can actually go on some decent streaks. I found in Black Ops 2 it was just a little bit too ridiculous. Like to earn a swarm, I think you had to get 19 or 20 kills in a row, and there's only 75 kills to go around, so I don't know. I feel like Advanced Warfare has it balanced much better for Team Deathmatch. The next thing I want to mention is I really like the implementation of the support UAV. This is something that is really going to help new players out, as well as players that just don't really care about going on high kill streaks. Maybe they just want to play the objective and they don't want to worry about deaths too much. The support UAV allows those players to still contribute to their team without having a super significant impact on the game. UAVs are nice little boosts, but a UAV isn't going to win you the game. It isn't going to make the difference between winning and losing. The support care package, on the other hand, this I'm a little bit nervous about, and I'm not too happy to see at this point, but we'll see how it works out. Basically, it does require an extra 600 score to earn, so a total of 1100 score to earn a support care package. But even a newer player in most game modes can earn 1100 score within a game pretty much every single game. So you're basically saying with the support care package, you have a chance to earn a high kill streak by just playing the game, and every game you're going to have that chance to earn a high kill streak. Now I know it is just a chance and they could just get a UAV out of it, but what if they get that upgraded Paladin? They suddenly have a massive impact on the game for something that didn't really require a whole lot of skill to earn. I do see why they have it in the game. It does give those newer players or those lesser skilled players that taste of what it's like to earn the high kill streaks, and it does keep them coming back for more, so I do see why it's in the game. I'm just not too happy about it because it does seem like something that can have a very significant impact on a game that would have otherwise been something that we would have won. I'm just sort of picturing a situation where it's a close game. We just have the lead, and then suddenly little Johnny that has absolutely no skill manages to get a 1100 score near the end of the game, calls it in, gets a Paladin or gets the highest score streak in the game, and suddenly that score streak causes or allows their team to win the game against us in a game that we otherwise would have won. It's just, I feel like it's going to be a little bit annoying, but we'll see how it turns out. So overall, I'm extremely happy that they did bring back score streaks for Advanced Warfare rather than Infinity Ward's point streak system. I'm really a fan of the score streak system because it really encourages movement and encourages people to actually play the objective, whereas the point streak system kind of discourages people from playing the objective because that's a dangerous place to go, and you aren't rewarded significantly for capping the B flag, for instance, in Domination. You get 1 point, which is equal to 1 kill, which you can get anywhere on the map, and it's much better. It's a much better idea to get it in some insignificant corner of the map than somewhere where it's dangerous to get that kill. So score streaks encourage everybody, or most people anyways, encourage them to go out and try to play the objective because that's where the reward is at. So I'd like to hear what you guys think of the score streak system. Are you happy they brought score streaks back, or do you prefer Infinity Ward style of the point streaks? Also, I want you guys to let me know which score streak are you most excited to use when Advanced Warfare comes out. Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.